Recording is in progress, and look at what we have back from being on assignment for pretty much most of the last 30 days. Oh no, I'm sorry. Maybe the last week or so. Brandon pulled himself off. He can't golf because he's recuperating from an injury. So to satisfy his fix, he walks the courses now, visualizing hitting it.
I took my putter. I took my
Took your
putter.
putter?
Yeah.
Are you supposed to be doing that with your shoulder?
I start therapy tomorrow, so or rehab, I guess they call it. And I'll find out tomorrow what I'm supposed to do and what I'm not supposed to do. But it's getting a little better. I mean, I have movement that a wide range of movement, but there's certain things that cause kind of an acute pain that I need to stay away from. So we'll see.
Putting is probably okay.
Putting is okay. However, when I was walking towards the green and I tossed a ball about 10 or 15 yards, that was not something I should have done.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I have up on the site for people to see is the Sportstopia Twitter. Sportstopia HQ. It's so new. There's only 3 followers and 0 posts. So if you're watching this video, you remember when back in the day you were exposed to probably what will be the premier destination fantasy sports and wagering information website on the planet. So if you want to go be one of the early followers, go to Sportstopia HQ. You can also find it from my ever-growing popular exploded Brandon and followers from single digits probably 6 weeks ago to 67. The word has gotten out. I can't stop it now if I wanted to.
Very good.
That's Fantasy Sports Logic. You can find that at twitter.com/fsportslogic. And then up in my profile, there is a link to Sportstopia. There's a link to fantasysportslogic.com and Driven to Win Entertainment. It's going to be putting together a really cool documentary called The Game Within, a docuseries. So, but that's not all what we're here for. We are here for not to talk about the Rays pounding my Giants 10-2 last night, as I shared with Brandon before we went into record mode, but we are here for the daily deeper dive podcast that we do every single day in conjunction with Ballpark Pal, one of our partners, one of the 7 daily projection data feed providers in the Contrarian Edge Optimizer, where Fantasy Sports Logic is the exclusive home for that optimizer. And also our partnership is with these charts that Aaron provides every single day. There's now 5 of them, Brandon. I don't know if you've been on since we added the weather icon one. Remember
No,
we were
I
thinking the pink meant Mary Kay Day? It actually has more meaning. It means possible postponement, and there is a pink for possible postponement today.
Okay.
So we'll get to that when we get down to the weather. We've got some really cool icons, temperature wise. The brightest orange is for above 90 degrees in the stadium, all the way down to maybe somewhere early in the year or later in the year in Oracle or Oakland. Well, I mean, they're playing it in November now, so you could say almost anywhere in the country, the playoffs, you could see that below 55 symbol. Not today, I don't believe, but let's jump right in. Aaron does a great job simulating these MLB games. Today, there's a 13-game main slate on top, a $100,000 DraftKings for the $15 150 max. So that will probably get some attention whenever they put the $100,000 prize pools. It seems to attract the best of the best. I might throw one out there just to see if the optimizer can snipe that top position tonight. It's been performing rather well. Go ahead, you were gonna say something.
No, I was going to ask you if you've had any, have you sniped anything the last couple of days?
3 days, I had two amazingly wonderful days. The optimizer did a max 150 50 cent entry into a DK tournament, and I turned the $75 into over 600. Placed second and third using the auto stack attack mode. I did, we talk about a lot of things, and that's when we get into the optimizer. You have to take a stand sometimes, meaning you can try to be diverse and play multiple pitcher options and multiple team options. Saturday, I was being a little giddy. I just locked two pitchers and then let it rip, faded a couple of teams. I think I faded the A's and the teams that my pitchers were facing. So I faded three, and it worked out well. And then Sunday, came back around in the afternoon slate, felt really giddy, paid 100 and played at the 150 max and the dollar. Similar strategy. I think I mixed and matched 6 pitchers, did a 2, and I was just cruising along. It wasn't winning anything at all. Close to the 150. It was like got $40 or $60, and then of all people, Patrick Bailey, who I had in all my lineups, hit a 2-out, 2-run laser beam home run, and it shot all my lineups up. And I ended up winning $450 some. Both those are posted on my Twitter page, so proof of what I'm talking about. Last night, it came back and got me a little bit. I lost like 20% of what I played. Scherzer was optimal. He had a great game. Texas stack, they won 12-0, so they gave him a lot of run support. But today, I'm feeling pretty confident. So tomorrow we'll be able to talk about how confident.
Are you feeling brave today?
You know what? It's hard not to feel brave any day, just because of those what I call gas house gang type lineups that they bring out there with Acuna. But I did see one of their main guys is on the DL. I didn't read how long. Albies. He didn't play. He went. I don't know if he was just out last night or if he's actually on the DL. They played a guy. I think it's a guy they picked up, maybe Rosario or somebody else, that actually made their stacks more affordable. They moved Harris up to the number 2 spot because Albies was out, the guy that had been batting 8th or 9th and doing really well. So they scored some runs, but not as many as Texas. And speaking of Texas, I see 2 of the top 3 in the home run projections to pop today. So they're on a roll. They're facing Giolito, a late trade deadline pickup of the Angels. What do you see there? I see a little bit.
Couple of the usuals, Judge and Ohtani. Neither of them have much of a matchup advantage, and not much of a park advantage either. But I do like those guys.
It's hard not to. I mean, those are 2 of the premier power hitters in the game today.
If not the 2 top, yeah.
Looks like Texas could be popular again. Garcia and Seager. I think Seager's batting 2 or 3, and then Garcia's the cleanup guy. They both have nice matchup boosts against Giolito, who's not a bad pitcher.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is if you look at the park percentage for Garcia, it's a 2% plus, and for Seager, it's a 2% minus. And Ohtani, it's even. I wonder if that has to do with which field they're most likely to hit it out.
Well, that has to do. Ohtani bats left-handed.
Yeah.
So when we get to the wins, we'll see. I think that favors, and maybe launch angles there's so many statistics, right? Of how these guys hit differently. I asked Aaron about that, and this is 3,000 simulation, so it's, as you said, there's not much of a park boost. It's exactly neutral for Ohtani, but he does have a 7% matchup against Jordan Montgomery. He was another deadline trade coming over from the Cardinals to the Rangers. He's a lefty. There's a lefty-lefty matchup that still gives Ohtani a little bit of a favor. So that's how they figure that, you know, when you see the wins and launch angle and tendencies, you know, you watch the game, they ever show the home runs, that how they have all those arrows pointing all different ways, and some guys are dead pull hitters, right? Some of them spray the ball all over. So I would imagine that's part of what's being factored into the home run report. Down in the solid matchup, I see a couple Reds popping out, Steer and McLean playing in Cincinnati, Great America Ballpark, always with this kind of weather late in the year, not what we're having. We've had like the marine layer of all marine layers here that just won't go away. But in Cincinnati, I would imagine when we get down to the weather, we're going to see an orange for very hot, some wind blowing out a little bit. You gotta look at the boost on McLean, 106%. I don't know how, I guess you can go over 100%. He's got such a boost. He's not a 200% boost, but he's 106. So definitely want to be looking at him against that Guardian pitcher Logan Allen today. That's an interstate rivalry. Reds and the Guardians, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't happen often. This year, everybody playing everybody. So exciting for the Reds fans down there. 24% boost in matchup and 66%. I mean, how can you not play McLean today? Looking at that.
Yeah. Yeah, you might want to put a lock on him.
He might be in every single lineup today with, we'll see when we get to the optimizer. Who else? Steer at 28% doesn't look like anything now. Looks like, okay, 1 and 4. I like the 106% myself, but former Giant starting to heat up for the Blue Jays against the top rated pitcher on the slate, Zach Wheeler. It's got Brandon Belt, a lefty, hits righties pretty good. Looks like he's got a nice matchup with Wheeler at 28% and overall boost of 30. Interesting thing. Here we go into the Ballpark Pal Daily Fantasy Report. He does a bang up job, he being Aaron from Ballpark Pal, separating it by position players. 3 of each except for outfield and pitcher. He provides 9 of the top. You can go a lot more. You can go much deeper than deeper. This is the daily deeper dive video. If you want to go deeper and deeper, probably down to a lot of depth, you can go to the ballparkpal.com site, and he gets even more into the weeds, as they call it. But what do you see here? Can you see anything that sticks out? I know you're already over on pitchers, figuring out. That's how you write down your 2 pitchers you're locking in just after glancing for tonight. But go ahead.
No, I was just checking on Albies, and it does appear that he is. Sports Illustrated says he officially goes to the injured list. That was 4 hours ago.
Wonder what happened to him. Let's say
strained left hamstring.
A hammy. Yeah, he's a big cog. I mean, I know they're solid up and down, but that guy, he was having solid year. Okuna's like all world, but Avi's definitely complimentary, right?
Yeah.
Take a piece like that out and they can't help him.
If you've already set your lineups, you might want to go back and do a check.
Definitely. You don't want to get caught with, you got a lot of time. Like I say, the main slate's 4:05 Pacific, 7:05 Eastern, 13 games, almost everybody. The top pitcher, Nick Pivetta, kind of surprising. You know, he's pitched better. He is, with the blue is FanDuel projection points and the green is DraftKings. Kikuchi, Blue Jays number 2. I cannot believe Jacob Junis is number 3, but I don't know if he did that just for me to catch that because I'm a Giants fan. But if Jacob Junis is projected over Zach Wheeler, then this marine layer will never ever go away. That's what I say. The probability of that is, but very interesting. I have to ask Aaron if he just put that in there because he knew I was going to be seeing it, and maybe tomorrow we talk and Junis comes out and throws a complete game 2-hitter, but I doubt it. He's normally the guy that comes in after the opener, so I have to see when we get to pitching how they have him on the chart down there. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, he is starting today, and he's on DraftKings he's $7,400, so that could be a real value play for you.
There you go. That could be the beginning of a long streak of wins that the Giants definitely are in need of.
They're
hanging on to wild
things
card.
up.
What?
I say they're shaking things up with that move, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it's not 10-0 again.
Yeah, 10-2. He has some wild hair. If anybody's able to watch that game and he takes off his hat, it's a very I guess that's the style of the day. It kind of just goes up and everywhere. Zach Wheeler, number 4. Waka. See, he looks like he's projected for the Padres. I don't think he's pitched for a while, has he? Is he coming back off the DL? I haven't seen him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. That'll be interesting.
Jordan Montgomery back against those Angels that Scherzer slayed last night. The other, you got first Christian Walker playing in Colorado. Never a bad bat. Olsen trying to pick up the slack. Having a monster year for the Braves. Got Mookie. There's Albies, but he's out now. So Marte would slide up as another popular play in Colorado. On the other side of that game, McMahon, one of the more potent bats of Colorado, projected to pop. Witt Jr. I don't know if he was involved with Kansas City. I think Singer had a no-hitter late in the game for the Royals. Lost a no-hitter. They lost the lead, and then they had a walk-off to win that. So it's like an exciting game. Witt has been a big part of any success. I think Perez had a grand slam, I thought, or 2 or 3 run homer in that game early, and I didn't read how they lost the lead after Singer was pulled, if he was involved or not. There's another Brave, Arnold, and you got Acuna, who's almost always top projected. The guy's got 50 plus stolen bases, 25 home runs. You got Olsen with 107 going into last night RBI. I think he added 2 or 3. He's got 40 some home runs. It will be interesting to see how they fill that Albies void. Maybe they don't skip a beat. Maybe on both sides, defense and offense, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Ohtani, as you talked about, Stanton. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
It will be interesting. There's in that Reds game in Great America Ballpark, Ramirez, the power hitter for the Guardians. Starting pitcher preview, report card style, last 1,000 pitches that are the preferred pitches for each starter today. Javier facing the Marlins, and a veteran, Johnny Shake and Shimmy Cueto. Bill tossing his pitches up there. Javier looking pretty solid with his first 2. 14 fastball. He likes to throw 60% of the time. Slider 31%. Knuckle curve 0.7. So he saves that as kind of a off balance generator. Both those guys projected almost identical. A little over 5 innings, a little over 4 strikeouts, and each projected to allow shade under 3 runs. Where are your eyes migrating to?
I was
Mr.
just
Abbey.
I was looking at Wacha and Junis, and their top pitch is, each one of them has a real strong first pitch, but you look at what they go to next most often, and it's not very positive. But Junis is, 5 innings, almost 7 strikeouts. So I do like that. I might take a chance on that. But you go up and look at Wheeler and Kikuchi, and everything looks good all the way across the board. So that should be an awfully interesting game to watch.
Yeah, and you see who he's matched up against. I don't know if you recognize that name, but I'll give you a little backdrop on him.
Okay.
You know who he is?
Who are we talking about?
The pitcher for the Rays against the Giants, facing Junis tonight.
Oh, okay, Littell.
He was a part of their stronger bullpens for the Giants.
Oh,
He's always been a bullpen guy, and they converted him. I think this is his second or third start, so that's interesting. If you look at the grades, looks like Junis ought to throw a lot of sliders because he's got an A plus. Littell, a B with his 4-seam fastball, but Littell should stay away from his slider. Looks like it's not sliding up into the bat of the opposing team, and then you got a sinker for Junis that isn't sinking. So those secondary pitches off of their main one, maybe they don't want to throw those as much, and they'll have better fortune. And then looking at that third pitch of choice for Littell, it's a D. So Giants could break out. They scored like 2 runs or less, and seems like the last 6 months. I know it hasn't been that long, but they haven't scored many runs. 2 again last night. They need to turn the bats on. So a little insight there. You got Miller down at the bottom. What could be a late night hammer? Looks like he's not a bad choice. Pitches overall A, B. Last 1,000 preferred pitches, all A's. Projected to go almost 6 innings and 5 strikeouts. Montgomery in that game against Giolito. Both at projected over 6. Nobody's popping out like Scherzer last night. He was projected at 9, and he got the job done. Pretty balanced.
Yeah, it is pretty balanced. The Wheeler Kikuchi matchup, the over/under 7.5, and then the Junis Littell matchup is 8.5. So I'm thinking the Giants and the Rays might put up some runs today and cover that over.
They are definitely do, but I mean, it has been painful to watch.
Yeah.
Again, Glass now, he only struck out 7, which was amazing. I didn't look and see how many strikeouts the relievers had, but that game before the Giants struck out 17 times. 17. I mean, you got to try to miss the ball to strike out 17 times. What's the major league record? 21 that a pitcher had, or 22 or something? The Giants would not surprise me if they threatened that record. And I'm being truthful. I'm a Giants fan. It has been like, I don't know what how could a hitting coach teach you to strike out 17 times as a team in one game? I guess they've done well at that, right? At some point, you got to like say, turn around and bat from the opposite side, and you probably have a better shot, even if you're not a switch hitter. Anyway, so you can tell I'm a little frustrated with the anemics being kind, but anemic offense. Wheeler, Kikuchi, both almost 7 strikeouts. Look at the grades; they're all grade A's for all their pitches. So that, I guess, you could lock and load those two. You could, there is some bats on both sides of the ball, so that's dangerous in itself. You say it's 7.5 for the total.
Yeah.
You got Schwarber up there, who we didn't see him on the charts. Maybe it's because of Kikuchi. The guy's batting under the Mendoza line, but has about 40 home runs, I think. 45 hits on the season, 40 of them home runs.
You would you'd spend over 40% of your roster on those two guys.
How much are they? Wheeler's what, 10-6, 11-6?
11-6, and Kikuchi is 9.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to smash in many Braves with those two. And as balanced as the pitching is, Pavetta's interesting. What's his price?
He is 7,800.
Yeah, that's probably going to be chalky. A lot of people will see. I mean, he's pitched better. He's facing a Nationals team, not big strikeout team, but he's projected at about 7.
I just pulled up a lineup with the stack on, and it gave me Pavetta as one of my pitchers.
There you go. Does it have our ownership projection on him?
15.6.
Wow, I mean, he's that.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was his. That was the percentage of my money that I used. His ownership projection is 34.5.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't believe it's a 13-game slate, so you have 26 pitchers, but I would think at that price, he's going to attract a lot of attention. Probably, you got the Rockies game in Colorado. Last night, Kelly, I played him, and I think he did decent. Not sure what his total was, but tried to be contrarian in that stadium. Here's the temperature guide we got to earlier. Nice, as we said, the blue sun is 55-degree range. The orange, dark orange is 90. The lighter orange, 83 to 90. These are wind speed. These are humidity, barometric pressure, and the dome. Coors Field, not surprisingly, the highest projected. Interesting though, you have worst per carry with an H there. Going to be hot, over 80 degrees. Winds across winds, light at we said 5 to 9, but boosted 34% runs, 35 home runs overall. Boost with doubles and triples and singles. What's the Arizona, Colorado? Let me guess. I'm going to say it's probably hovering around 12 for total. What do you see there?
I don't think it's that high. Let me check. Oh, look at you. 12 and a half.
12 and a half, yeah.
Well, that's one of the bigger numbers we've seen this year.
Yeah, well, the Rockies, to get into their bullpen, I don't think they have much. They don't have much with starters, and then you get into their bullpen. Who are they? Who are the starters in that game?
Mantiply and Block. Block's going.
And that Mantiply, he's an opener, so he's not going to go. He's projected at 2.7. Ty Black, he's another former Giant, hasn't been doing that well as a Rocky starter. Yeah, you're going to have that. Even though it's 12 and a half, I would definitely favor more. That might be one of the games to really smash on, which a lot of people probably will, but that could be Coors Field 13 to 12 game.
Yeah,
in the 7th inning.
He rarely gets out of the 3rd inning, and Block doesn't get past 5. So
yeah. Here we go. Brandon and I were wondering, we talked about this pink. We know what it is now. There is a possibility in Washington of a potential delay or postponement. You want to make sure you pay attention to that. I'm sure that's one of the early games, the 4:05 or 7:05, depending on Pacific or Eastern time zone that you're on. Has a threat there. So I don't know if that's just a pop-up type late summer thunder boomer, or if it's something that may sit around for a while. But Coors, and then number 2, Great America Ballpark, there could be a pivot. I'm sure it'll get some attention as well. You got the Reds the big red machine of 2023, led by Ellie De La Cruz, one of my favorite names to say, and he's an electrical player for the Reds. You saw Steer and McLean projected to pop, and this is what, 20% boost in runs, 41% home runs, and look at why. Wind blowing out at 10 to 14, and not super hot, not so 76 to 82. Nice.
Yeah,
That's going to be a nice, yeah, and that'll be that game against the Guardians and Reds. Perfect weather conditions for the hitters. Who did we have in the pitching matchup? Ashcraft, who's been, looks like he's done well across the board. I think he's given up some runs though recently. Against Allen, both pitchers mass up nice.
yeah.
3 runs each. What's the total in that game at Great America? 10? 9.5?
Now, let's see, that is 9.5.
I should be providing information. I'm starting to just nail all of them within a run or two.
That's what you're doing today.
Exactly. What else we see? What do you see there?
Oh, just nothing really jumps out except the top couple ones there. So
I see something at the bottom that's definitely conducive to the marine layer here.
oh yeah, you know it's 90 degrees up here, so no marine layer for me today.
We have had, I mean, if I could turn the computer around, it's as bright as it's been in 3 days, but it's like very gloomy. And they say it's, I don't know which one, but it's one of the Nina sisters, either El Nino or La Nina. That's sitting out there causing, I'm hoping, I'm probably the palest Californian, no vitamin D for what seems like weeks. Try to fix that today though. As I'm talking, the sun gods are trying to fight through, but yeah, Petco Park, nice matchup. The Orioles, they're solid lineup up and down. They lead the East, tough division. Got Red Sox over there, Yankees, Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay and Baltimore neck and neck in that division, but they're in here playing the Padres that the fans aren't happy. All that money, Brandon, and what's going on with those Padres?
Yeah, nothing good right now.
They went out and spent freely, and it's going to be interesting. They're talking about, taking a shot at Ohtani, but they'd have to get rid of Soto with the salary he has, and I don't think that'll be easy. But they have the players. Tatis has been good. Machado, Bogarts. Look at Wrigley today. Wrigley plays definitely 360, meaning the winds are blowing in off the lake, 10 to 14. It's sunny. Temperatures like they are in Cincinnati. They are where's the guide? I'm making everybody dizzy. 76 to 82. But when the wind comes out of the north there, it knocks balls down. That stadium, when the wind is blowing out, it takes everything and gives it a boost. So the pitcher's looking like, and that's the south side versus north side rivalry. Cubs and the Sox in Wrigley. So that'll be some excitement in the Cubby Bear, probably starting already. You
I
think
would
some
think
people
so.
are frequenting, having some Bloody Marys in Murphy's or the Cubby Bear? I would be if I was there. Let's see who those pitchers are. Toussaint, who's just started to play a little better against Hendricks. Hendricks can be, he's off and on, right?
Yeah.
Not normally a big strikeout guy. I think he had a few last game. both projected at a little over 4, under 3 runs. The over under in Wrigley with the wind blowing in, those two pitchers, 8.5.
Okay, let me check. Oh, you dog.
What is it?
You know what it is. It's 8.5.
I'm not cheating. I'm not looking at anything. I just, sometimes you're on, sometimes you're off, but no, that, remember when the Atlanta game was 8.5 and I said over on, and it ended up 8. Braves scored 7 runs in 1 inning, got 1 more, and then I predicted. We can't wager here in California, so we can do fantasy sports, but I predicted, and then it went over the next 2 days. This probably is a good time to say this information is educational only. It is solely provided as our opinions, not facts. We don't guarantee anything. Any information that you acquire here, some of the results that we have, we spoke about earlier, that doesn't mean we'll have them again, nor will you, but we like to provide as much data as possible, and we believe we've positioned ourselves well in that regard. Exciting news from Fantasy Sports Logic. We have a promo going on with our partners at Drafters and our relationship with Sportstopia for an amazing collaboration with Drafters while they last. $20 entries into their $2 million total prize pool best ball style contest with a $300,000 first place. $699.97 gets you 10 entries. It'll also allow you to have a $100 deposit credit on Drafters, which you can use for more entries. You can use for their daily best ball tournaments or their daily fantasy contest. You will get a lifetime subscription to the Contrarian Edge Optimizer with its 7 live player projection data providers, one of which is Ballpark Pal. We're going to go there. Brandon's been reading some data as he's looking at it. We're going to show you what that is. And you'll have all sports for one price. This is our introductory while in beta, and we are performing 8 months later like we've never performed before as far as functionality. Still little things here and there, but $299.97 value. And you get all the sports. Currently MLB, NFL is being added as we speak. The season is rapidly approaching. We have about 3 weeks to the main season. NBA will be added. And Brandon's favorite, PGA, all in one place, one price, never pay again, included in that $699.97. And then we talked about Sportstopia. We showed you the Twitter page at the beginning of the video. Definitely encourage you to go to sportstopia.io. You'll see a splash page, hit the about. Ed Williams had a meeting yesterday, Brandon, while you were traveling, was introduced to 10 former writers from a very popular website. Ed was director of content for NBCSports.com and Roto World, and he's brought back a team that I don't know. I would say unrivaled.
All-stars. He's got the all-stars. Yeah.
Yes, these guys and girls, there's both guys and girls, are going to be providing content. What you see is it's just a landing page, but read the about. Ed's won a couple of Emmys while he was with NBC. He's heading up CCO, not to be confused with CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival, but Chief Content Officer for Sportstopia, and he's assembling a team. What's that mean to you? That means on a daily basis, a one-stop shop for articles and videos about fantasy sports information across MLB, NBA, PGA, and NFL, all in one place. You will get access to any premium content. If we set up a firewall, there'll be no charge for the VIP members as a part of that $699.97. We are jazzed. I had a meeting with the web designers this morning, Brandon, and they optimistically believe by the end of the week we're going to start to see some real cool things developing with that site. So super excited. There's another partnership there with streaming videos. We're going to have at least a 45-minute video every day covering the different sports, and super excited about that. I mean, the reason that we did it is if you play, you need 3 to 4 things. You need a platform to play on, and we have drafters as our preferred choice, but you can play anywhere. I play on DraftKings, and there's FanDuel, and there's Prize Picks, there's Underdog, there's Sleeper, there's sites all over. There's some new ones, Payday Fantasy. We've had meetings. That's going to be fun, huh?
Yeah.
That'll be a part of the ecosystem. So you need a place to play, you need a tool, and we're about to show you the Contrarian Edge Optimizer and why we believe it could be your tool of choice for the pricing and for the value. And you need to go find information, right? If you can see, I currently have about 19 browsers open, and I've scaled it down to 7 or 8, but bouncing all over, right? Just like Ballpark Pal will be integrated in there, so that'll be in Sportstopia. We'll have a ticker. Got excited about that, Brandon. I don't know if I showed you. I did, right?
Yeah.
Where I go to ESPN and follow the scores and the boxes. That'll be on Sportstopia. The lines of the day, so I won't have to be guessing and seeing if I'm right. I still can do that, but we'll pull that screen up. That'll be a part of this package, and then not to leave out, I had a conversation with my brother who's finally getting it, but there's a lot of successful things happening in sports and entertainment. A lot of evaluations of these companies are going through the roof. You could call them unicorn. We're going to make something available that I think is unique, and that is the success of Fantasy Sports Logic, Sportstopia, Drafters, a television network. We're going to have a nice relationship with. I mean, they only are worth anything if people get involved, right? I mean, if Sportstopia becomes the most amazing multimedia fantasy sports and wagering information site on the planet, and nobody knows about it and nobody goes there, it's just a cool logo and a website, right? Doesn't really mean anything, but what if you could participate in the upside? You carve like 20% from Sportstopia, from potentially Drafters, from Fantasy Sports Logic, from a television network. And the more you participated, the more you played, the more you engaged in the content, something as simple as subscribing to the newsletter of Sportstopia, using the Contrarian Edge Optimizer, and then sharing it with like-minded sports enthusiasts, the more of that 20% you participated in. So this is the beginning of that in the form of a loyalty rewards. Think about tournaments that you don't have to pay any entry fees into, right? The Fantasy Sports Logic and Drafters create that have attractive prize pools that you can get involved with as all a part of this. So that's what's there right now. It'll definitely evolve once the Drafters best ball is full. Then we'll add some other value and probably create different packages. We have one more thing that we're super excited about before we jump to the optimizer. I might not squeeze this in by 11:30. How much time I have, Brandon? You're probably watching your clock. Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm good.
Look at this. What is this? I saw yesterday that the money, $170 billion is being poured into documentaries because they're becoming so popular, sports documentaries, Brandon. And you know me, I started the idea of this long before I read about that. But this is this will be one of our first attempts in cooperation with Las Vegas Television Network. Driven to Win Entertainment is our entertainment company. You can see the Super Draft, Drafters, RotoWire. RotoWire is there because Peter Schenke, the founder, is going to be an advisor to the film along with Ed Williams, obviously Fantasy Sports Logic, Neuro Trackers, Brain Training. Brandon was introduced to the founder, or not the founder, he's the owner. He didn't found it. It was created through a lab in Montreal. Popham, one of our Web3 fantasy platforms of the future. Excitement there, but this is the game within the evolution of fantasy sports. We don't think anybody's ever explained it like we're about to. So think of an hour documentary and then a docu-series. There's so much that's happened since the late 50s, early 60s. The pig skin prognosticators. I'm surprised I can say that without my tongue twisting, but they were created as the first version of fantasy football, some Oakland Raider ownership guys, and then on the other side, rotisserie baseball. And through the ages, things have emerged with a lot of interesting happenings that you'll be able to find out about with that movie. So, ooh, I'm gonna go to the optimizer. Brandon, I've talked so much, my tongue's about ready to stick to the side of my mouth. I have to get some water. You want to cover a little bit about what the heck the Contrarian Edge optimizer is? I'm going to grab some water, so go ahead. I'll trust you. If you get stuck, I'll come back, but you blew through it the other day like a master.
Well, that was because I was sitting in front of your screen and was able to move it around. And now if I click on anything or ask you to click on anything and you're getting water, nothing's going to happen. But you can select your sport right here, or you're not seeing my. Daryl, you're going to have to do this because I don't have control of your screen.
Yeah, no worries. I forgot about that. The lineups have been updated. We update the lineups every 30 minutes. Yeah, I left Brandon in a vulnerable position there, so I have the screen control. But what he was going to share with you is this is wired into DraftKings or FanDuel. I think we'll add Yahoo for football. The different slates that each offers: Turbo, Main, Night, and then you can get into the Showdown slate. It's Contrarian mode is on. You can turn it off. That's kind of our flagship product. The what?
The secret sauce.
Yeah, it is. It allows you to get different. Getting different is a good thing. Meaning finding lower owned, more value. You can see we have ownership projections. These are our projections, not necessarily hard to predict. Probably one of the hardest things to do. I mean, it's easier to predict player data outcomes because of all the data you have. And look at this, we have 7 partners here, including our proprietary blend. And they're not just any 7. You got Ballpark Pal, that we're the only one he provides a feed to currently. 3,000 simulations, as we showed you on the chart. Baker Engine, we are one of the first. It's just offered this year from Sports Data.io. They simulate any given major league game 10,000 times. Sports Data.io, we get a legacy feed as well from. So we have two feeds from those guys. FTN Data, Frank, 40,000 simulations. That's a lot of simulations of their projection. Frank likes that number. RotoWire, we talked about Peter and Shannon. They are one of the most recognized in the industry. They provide data to the who's who. You go to their site, rotowire.com. Sport Radar, Dan Williams, another well-respected veteran in the sports industry, fantasy sports, Sports Data.io I referred to earlier, that's Charles, and then Stats Perform with Corey. Been around since the 80s. Over 100 years of experience with those providers. If someone wanted to go out and try to get, I don't have to try, if you wanted to access those feeds from all of those partners, it would be a lot more than $29.97 a month.
You think?
It'd be a lot more than $299.97 a lifetime. I can tell you through experience. This is an incredible value, people. And then you're getting our proprietary blend. So, and it actually worked. People say, well, don't tell me, show me. And I showed the last 2 out of 3 days what the potential is in the stack attack mode. But it's on turbo. I'm going to flip to main. 13 game slate. See the ownership that was on the turbo, which is smaller. You can see Wheeler. We have him at only 8% today. Pavetta, we talked about, probably the most popular. His price is attractive, 7,800, 34%. Pretty balanced. Peterson, 6,700. Again, that's a price thing. Against those Pirates. Pirates have hit the ball better the last week or so. The 25% ownership. Michael Waka. He's only less than 2% owned against those powerful Oriole bats, but he has pitched some good games this year. And then drop down Emerson Hancock, 11%. So you kind of see, right? There's Toussaint, and where's Hendricks? Is he's somewhere in this mix? We talked about him.
Just past him. He's there at 7,400 for Hendricks.
Yeah, he's up there. Probably be kind of popular in that game where the wind's coming in, but it's going to be, this is probably the most balanced I've seen, right? There's not really anybody popping out, although you have Wheeler and Montgomery expensive. I don't know if this is where you want to spend up or not. I mean, you spend up for Wheeler against Vlad and Brandon Belt and Springer and those guys. I don't know about that. That's why it probably has the lower ownership projection. Kikuchi, we liked him, same thing, 9 grand, 12.5. Gonna be interesting for pitching today. Position wise, you can see these are all the partners' projections, and you'll see they vary, right? You can see that Wheeler has a high, just a shade under 20. So you're gonna pay 11.6 for a guy that's projected to not get you to 20 again. I don't think so. That's why it looks like 92% of the people won't. And he's got a low of a shade under 14 from Sports Data IO. So position wise, you can play. Wheeler's going to cost you 2 Okunas today. 6,800, a little less than 2 Okunas, but he's been his price has skyrocketed up there. He's as much as Littell is the starter against the Giants today, but he can carry you. Either when people look at that, if you fade him and he happens to have an Acuna type day, hits a home run or 2 and steals a base and scores some runs, you could miss out on maybe 25, 30, maybe even more points. Josiah Gray, the Washington pitcher, 7,600 against the Red Sox. Corbin Carroll, he's there because of being good, and he's in Colorado. So Mookie, you can see all this data, right? How do you make it work? You're gonna fast forward, you're gonna let it. You want to lock anybody, Brandon?
No, just let's see who comes up.
Don't lock.
No, don't lock anybody. Just
okay.
Oh,
I'm going to throw it into stack attack mode. We go 5. Why do we go 5? 13 game slate. The odds are one of those teams or 2 are going to go off and score multiple, maybe double-digit runs. Correlation last night, Texas 5 stack was in the winner's circle. It's ready to rumble, but I'm going to go. You could, if you wanted to just smash Colorado, the Colorado Arizona game, you could fade in pro settings, everybody, but them, once you lock your pitchers, I'm going to go into auto. This is what we're kind of proud of. It's all automated. That's what auto means. It's going to stack a variety of different opportunities. We didn't lock any pitchers because there's so much balance today. If you wanted to fade any pitchers, you could. You might want to fade the Rockies pitchers with the total being 12.5 and the Diamondbacks there. It's doing its thing. 13 games. How many different possibilities could there be, Brandon?
Over 1 million.
Exactly right.
Yeah, what it's doing, that orange flash that's going on and off in the background, it's making all those different calculations. And we'll see it pop up in a second, and we'll get an orange generate lineups. And then we'll be good to go.
Yeah, it's doing a lot of things back there. Going across all the games, looking for the best 5 stacks, and it's not just stacks, it's you can stack a max 5 and then you have 3 other positions and then 2 pictures. You see it's ready to go, except for stack attack mode is off. I'm going to turn it on. That'll help you get even a little more different. There we go. Double green there, that means go, go, go. We'll hit the generate lineups and let's see what those little Keebler elves are up to. They're not really Keebler elves, but I keep remembering that they were in a hollow tree and that's what they make those cookies from. So we have our own. Oh, look at that. Man, this thing impresses me. Leonard, you can be proud today, as you have been the last few. I'm gonna put Brandon and I down here, and proprietary secret sauce blend of the 7 likes Pavetta. You talked about that earlier, right?
Yeah.
Matching them up with Peterson, both cheap, and that gets you into some good situations. You got a Arizona 5 stack, never a bad idea against the Rockies in Colorado. You get Walker in there, Corbin Carroll, 2 of the bigger bats. You get Tommy Pham, who came over in that Mets trade. You got a Brave, Michael Harris. You got Marte on the other side. I know you got him as a Diamondback as well, and Morano. So 5, and then less expensive Dylan Moore, who's had some decent games. Ryan McMahon on the Rocky side. That's a good look in the lineup right there. People are probably watching this video and taking screenshots and saying, I don't need to subscribe to the optimizer. It's all there for free. And that's our little treat that we're doing for a while, but we won't continue to do. But what we like to point out is look at the diversity, right? That was the blend. The Baker with its 10,000 simulations like Mantiply, which I don't. But I mean, if he scores you 18 points like they're projecting for 4,000, you would definitely be getting different and you would be ahead of the field. But everybody's got their opinions. That, you know, the reason some of them took out a $4,000 because look, you get Mookie in there, Machado, Yoshida, you get some bats, right? There's our man Jacob. Don't tell me I can't do it. Junis at the top with Pavetta. And Scott Albies, he's out, so you can take him out. It shows him out, and but he did pop up, so that'll be updated later today. They updated the out, so he definitely won't be in. But that's through Ballpark Pal, FTN data. You say, well, you said 7, and I only see 4 in the blend. That's because we have this little slider arrow that secretly hidden up there. You have to find it.
Yeah, what's interesting is if you look at RotoWire, they did it took a stack of Minnesota. Ballpark Pal took Arizona. FTN Data took Arizona. Looks like Sports Radar is a St. Louis stack. So you got a lot to choose from there.
Yeah, it's a mix of St. Louis and the Mets. You got Alonso, so you got a big bat. You got Contreras, the brother. One plays in Milwaukee. This one's out of St. Louis. He's a solid bat, a catcher. You get Arenado. You get Lindor. That's a good looking lineup with Sport Radar. You got Wheeler and Hancock in there. Hancock less expensive, but today I'm gonna listen to some of the other shows and see their opinions. But I would think that that it's going to be pretty diverse. I think that got Flaherty pitching, yeah, okay, was he on the chart? I don't remember him. Is he pitching for Baltimore against Waka? I know he came over in the Cardinal trade. Does he show starting?
I'll go back and check.
Some of these you gotta watch because the providers haven't updated, you know. As he's doing that, you'll see again Bobby Miller. The stats perform with Hendricks, and again, you get a nice Arizona stack with Walker. So
Yeah.
far,
Flaherty's ago.
years ago.
Yep.
Okay. We got him against those Padres, which they aren't as potent as they appear to be. So what do you want me? Want me to fire up some blends and see how diverse we get?
Sure.
What you can do is you can go and say, I really like this Pavetta Peterson blend. Show me 150 different opportunities there. I'm going to play the max 150. I'm going to make the optimizer show me what it's capable of. I really put us out there back on the line with that one, Brandon, but I'm feeling good. And it's going to give you a report, right? It's going to calculate away. And again, I asked it for 150 different variations to get diverse. It's going to tell you what it's doing. I didn't fade anybody. I could have faded teams. I could have faded players. Prioritizing. Look at the balance, Brandon.
Yeah.
You got 6 ace stacks, 6 Rays stack against my Giants, 6 Braves, 6 Blue Jays, 6 Rangers, 6 Brewers, 6 Dodgers, 6 Twins, 6 Yankees, 6 Diamondbacks, 6 I mean, so what does that do, right? That is called diversity. You have coverage. All you're looking to do when you play like this, and again, you could have faded. You say, I don't want any A's. You could have faded in the pro settings, or I don't want any, you know, so and so Giants because they can't hit their weight. But whoever or whatever, this gave you coverage with a mixture of pitchers. The goal with this is if you play this in a mini max today, 50-cent game, which would cost you $75, or 10-cent game, and everybody's got their budgets. I'm not projecting, I'm just giving examples. The goal with this is trying to have just one team get to the top and win you that top prize. This isn't a strategy that you want to pick out and use a stack with a single game. I mean, if you got lucky and you hit the game, then probably lap the field, right? Right. But you could play one Diamondback stack and one Rocky stack, and I guarantee you, you won't be the only one on your that contest doing that tonight. Or you could go back to the Rangers, but here it gave you diversity, right? And what happens? Look at, I mean, there's so much information there, right? Gonna X out, and look at that, voila. If you're like, well, I want to see who all those are, right? Well, we did that, and I'm not going to take time because Brandon's got to leave in like 30 seconds to make his appointment. But I jokingly said I wasn't going to run this long, and he got me going. If it wouldn't have been for him, I'd have ended 2 minutes ago. Maybe not. But anyways, you get the point, right? It's just like so cool, so much value. I mean, we talked about, besides the promo, Brandon, what's it take to get involved? How can I try this thing out?
Well, if you have $1, you can sign up for a weekly trial. And if you like what you see, you can either go for a lifetime membership, or you can go on a monthly basis, or you can sign up for the VIP package, which includes everything else we're doing with Sportstopia.
There you go. There's a little glance at the pro settings. Like I said, if you wanted to, before you do the auto settings, if you wanted to fade a team, you just say, I don't want any A's, I don't want any Rays, whatever. I don't want any Giants. Fade a team, it won't show you any players. And then you can also get specific on on min and max exposure per individual pitcher or position player, 367 players. That's why there's over 1 million different possibilities, right? When I started playing, I thought, man, there can't be that many, right? You're like, man, I'm gonna play 10 lineups, there's no way I'm gonna miss. Now you play 150 and if you can't run, you're like, well, I got 150 out of the 1 million possibilities. So anyways, thank you, Brandon, for putting up with me and contributing. Great to have you back. Are we gonna see you tomorrow, or we have an assignment, you and John Miller and Dave Fleming from the Giants? You doing something, or what's your schedule?
I will see you tomorrow.
Okay, I promise to get started a little earlier so we don't miss breakfast and lunch at the same time. But thank you, everybody. I am going to wish everybody a super spectacular, amazingly awesome, and most importantly, prosperous Tuesday in your daily fantasy adventures.